my lovelies, hope you're all well. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to be reacting to a bit more Sheriff Judd. Awesome guy. Grab yourself a drink. I've got myself a cup of tea. Yes, it's a Christmas mug. No judgment. It's June. Never mind. It's just a short one today, so let's see what's going on with Sheriff Judd.
Well, that gets me all fired up for my next one. Now, this is one that just just really frustrates me. We send our children to church as we should for adult guidance, so they'll have mentors, so they'll be taught the Word. And then you have Andrew Weaver, who's 29, who's a youth pastor. He's married. He was a youth pastor at Highlands Church of Christ. But the church did the right thing. They heard about Andrew Weaver's misbehavior and notified the sheriff's office, and we started an investigation. He was counseling with a child, a 17-year-old girl. Inappropriately, I might add. He was, quote, giving her informal guidance. He asked to see photographs of her in the nude, which she just happened to have on her cell phone. She talked of fantasies that involved him, and one thing led to another, and instead of him being the adult in the room, instead of him being the appropriate counselor in the room, he creates a relationship with a 17-year-old child. Did I tell you he was 29 and married and a youth pastor? Well, on December the 29th, this minister met the 17-year-old at the church, and he put her in the car with him. And then he took her to a motel in Mulberry, and he rented a room. And he was having some inappropriate counseling with her at that time when an angel appeared at the door in the form of a maid and knocked on the door. Well, that freaked them out. They stopped their in-depth counseling and fled, and he took the young lady back to the church. She was not sexually battered, but they were engaging in inappropriate behavior. He was charged with attempted unlawful sex with a minor and interfering with child custody. The church did what was right. You can't look into a crystal ball and see how people are going to act in the future.
Nope.
There are hundreds of thousands of youth ministers that do the right thing every day and provide counsel and leadership and adult supervision to youth who are in need of appropriate leadership. This guy is an embarrassment to every one of those. We locked him up in the county jail. Certainly, we're angry with him, but for whatever reason, that maid went to the door. She was an angel that day because it freaked them out, and the rest of that inappropriate counseling session didn't take place.
Good.
Do you know if he's still working for the church?
I'm absolutely certain he's not working for the church. I haven't asked that question. It's more than obvious that he wouldn't be, because they're the ones that brought it to our attention when they learned of it. And I appreciate the church doing the right thing They got him out soon and reported him to us. And we're going to hold him appropriately accountable with the criminal justice system. But let me share a little counseling with Andrew here. Andrew, Jesus don't like that. I'd even go so far to say he's pissed. Any questions?
Are there any other victims that you're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of. The investigation goes on. Certainly parents need to have conversations with their children to make sure there are no other victims.
Could have been grooming
And
a
it's
few.
not uncommon for there to be other victims, and it's also not uncommon for there not to be other victims, because they take a personal interest in one and not necessarily another.
Yeah.
Ruby says that contact occurred for approximately 5 months. So does that mean that this is a case in point, or that there was inappropriate touching, kissing, whatever, other times?
We are giving you the information that we're releasing. We are going to go deeper into our work with the young lady who's the victim. And we know that this was the instant case that came to our attention, but certainly, as you know, Ken, we always follow up to see what else might have occurred that would have been inappropriate. But at this point in the investigation, and when we talk to you, our investigations are just beginning. They're not ending. But this guy here, he's got an issue, a criminal issue.
Maybe I missed this, but how long was he a pastor at this church?
I'm not sure, but we can get that for you. Anything else? Thank you very much for being with us today. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Grady. Another good session. This kind of thing gets me riled up because I'm a mum. I have a 3-year-old little girl, and I am terrified at the thought of her growing up in this world. Just the predators and all that stuff. And hey, don't get me wrong, 17-year-old girls are not always innocent. I know what I was like at 17. Hell, I know what I was like at 14 and 15. And I was not innocent. And generally speaking, teenage girls will always want to go for older males. You could say it's because girls mature faster than boys. I don't know. I don't think it's that. I mean, boys are immature, and when you're the same age as them, generally they're a lot more immature than you are, and maybe that plays a role in it. But the fact of the matter is that a 29-year-old man is only going to be interested in a 17-year-old girl for one reason: because she's easily manipulated. So maybe it was a one-off. Maybe there won't be any more. You know, why? Oh, it's just creepy, isn't it? It's just creepy. You know, when I was 17, I was going out with a 21-year-old, which is still a pretty big gap, but I wasn't the best behaved when I was a teenage girl. And that's part of the reason I'm terrified for my little one, because I don't want her to be like I was. So, anywho, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.